So today, uh, let's revise a bit. Then, so since today we learned this addition of items, right? We learned this addition of items. So now, yesterday we learned addition of items. Today we can learn deletion of items. So let me just create one more file 1.9.1 and then list functions. List functions 2 dot ipynp is the extension, and the title is list functions part 2 or season 2. So we will learn today deletion of items from the list, right? From the list. So before going here, let's revise what we have learned yesterday. So addition of items in the list. Addition means somehow we need to add some elements or some items in the list. Okay. So there are these three important methods. First is append, then extend, then insert. Other than these three, there is no another method which I remember, but these are most asked, most used functions in list data type. Okay, in list data type. And also additionally, we learned these two index and max function. So today also we will learn somewhat four deletion methods, and then if time permits, we will go and learn sorting, ascending and descending. So what is the very first is append function. What is append function? It is used to add any item in the list. Okay. So basically all these three functions have the same line. Append or extend or even insert functions are used to add any item in the list. Okay. But the difference is here. The both items can be added or by default the items can be added at the -1th index, means at a very end position, right? At very end position. Uh, okay. At very end position here basically, and then basically this 77 will get added here, right? But when you basically the append function, when you use append function and when you want to add a sub list or a very small list inside a parent list, then this list will get added as a sub list, right? Added as a sub list. So you can see it has not got added, like not absorbed totally. There is a blend of, like there is some layer. So this is a two-dimensional array at the moment. So we will learn arrays going ahead. Now, now this is another example. We have created a list of football players, and then we wanted to append the cricket players in them. So we can see the football players did not really accepted them completely. So because we used append function. But if we want to push these cricket players completely into football players, we can use extend function. This is the primarily major difference between append and extend function, right? The very major difference is this one, where the list gets added completely, right? Completely. There is no things like another list here. Okay, there is no some such a thing here. Then the next thing that we learned, so this is one of the example that I have given. Sometimes this question may get asked into the interview. So we will practice all these questions. So what I will do today, I will give you one assignment so that you can practice it home also, and you need to submit it. So before that, everyone needs to create a GitHub account like this. So what you have to do is first go to GitHub like this. Okay, so to do this task today, go to GitHub, go to sign in or sign up. So it will directly take me in because I have already signed in. So you just have to use your personal mail ID, and then you need to set up a password. There will not be any projects that you can see right here like this. You will see the very first window like this, and you just have to create new project. So I will walk you through each and every one, how to create projects, how to push the repository. But very first thing you need to do today is create the GitHub account. Okay, create the GitHub account. So let me just drop this link into the comments. Okay, create an account on GitHub today. So this is also an assignment for you. Okay, once you will do it, I will let you know how to push the code and how to add. So you will be doing the assignment on your system, and then we will push the code. Okay. So these kind of questions will get asked in interviews. Like definitely, like even if you come with 4 years of experience, but still they will ask you these basic questions. So this is really a basic question, but they will ask you. So what was the question? We wanted to segregate the numbers into even and odd. Okay. So we had these numbers. We created some empty list in our mind. If we wanted to add any number, we will use append function, right? Or even we could have used extend function, right? So this is how it works, and then we use for loop, we use this operator, right? Modulus operator that we have learned, and this equals to operator, and we knew this formula. So somehow we were able to add even numbers into the even list and odd numbers into the odd list. Okay, and then my number is this. Okay. Anyways, then it's the same question. It is the same question. It's the same question. Then we learned about insert function. So insert function is something that you have to provide a index of particular any element. So the example is we created another football players list, and then we wanted to add Dhoni at location 1, right? At location 1. So we add, like, we use list 44 dot insert then location 1, or whatever the location you want to specify, right? And then what we do is we specify what element that we want to add into the list, right? What element that we want to add into the list. And again, you can also add these another list into the list, another list into the list, and it looks like this. The output looks like this. So this is the list which got added into the parent list, right? Which got added into the parent list. Then we understood what is index function. So index function will give you the index of whatever the element, like whichever element you want. So I wanted the index of 20 element, so I've got as a 1, right? I've got as a 1. If I want to find the maximum number from the list, so I will just use max of whatever the list name is, right? So this is how I've got the max age from this particular list. And then if you have uh, you know, if there is if one number has come twice, then you can also ask, like, 10 number, or if the 10 number has occurred two times, what's the location of that 10 number is. So we got 7 as an answer. So this is a seventh index, right? This is a seventh index. So this is all about yesterday's. And let's get into the today's lecture. So today potentially we will learn about the very first is remove, okay. Then second is pop. Then third is del, which is delete, and the fourth is clear. Okay, fourth is clear. So let's learn deletion of items from the list. These are the four functions which can be used for deleting the items from the list. The first is remove, second is pop, third is delete or del, and the fourth is clear. Okay. So name suggests a few things, but let's start with remove function. Okay. Let's start with remove function. So remove function or remove is used to remove the item remove the item from the list, right? Remove the item from the list. So by default, it removes the first occurrence from the list. Okay, first occurrence from the list always. So what does this mean? Let's understand by example. Okay, let's understand by example. So let me just create one list. List new is equals to, okay, list new is equals to any list like 2, 3, 4. I'm taking some number 6. Let's take some variables like uh, I O iOS, okay, and then let's take some variables like uh, Android. Again, let's take some numbers 128 GB or something like that. Okay, so we have this list new right now. We have some numbers and then we have some variables here. Okay, we have some numbers and we have some variables. So what if there are some students with us today who doesn't like iOS or who doesn't like Android. So what I will do is I will simply say list whatever the list is, and I will type dot here. You can see I have just typed dot here. Okay, and when I type dot, I get these many options. These many options. So you can see there is one option it says remove. Since we are learning remove, so you don't really have to remember all the functions. This Python interpreter itself give you the function names if you somehow remember like forget. So if you don't like iOS and if you say I don't like iOS, just remove it from the list. Okay, I don't like iOS, just remove it from the list. And what it will do is when you check now list new, there is no iOS. Okay, if you check list new right now, there is no iOS. Isn't that easy? Like, right? It was easy. So nothing apart from that. Like you can you can even let's say list. I don't even like, let's say, remove, and I don't want this 128 GB. I want 512 GB. So if I do this and if I check list new, you can see the 128 has been removed, and even this iOS has been removed. So what you use, dot remove function, and you need to specify whatever the item that you want to delete. Okay, whatever the item that you want to delete. Understood? So there is no rocket science. This is very simple operation like remove. If you want to use and if you want to remove any item, you just have to specify it into the remove function. right, into the remove functions. So is this clear right now? Is this clear? If this is clear, type yes in the comments. Kind of a simple one, kind of a simple one. If this is clear, type yes in the comments. Type yes in the comments. So let me just insert some of the elements. Let's say insert at location 3, anything like 512 GB or 256 GB. I don't know if that exists or not. And I'm just running this. So what will happen is list new is this smaller list has been introduced. Yes, 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 yes. Great. So now our new list look like this. Okay, our new list look like this. So what I want to do is, guys, what I want to do is now I don't want this 2, 3, 4, and even 6. I just want 512 or this list and Android. Right? These are related words. These are related terms. Right? What I don't want 2, I don't want 3, I don't want 4, I don't want 6. I want only Android and these two. Okay. So now give me the code for this. अरे यार चले गया वो तो. Give me the code for this. So type in the comments. Type in the comments. So I don't want I want these. I don't want the rest of one. I don't want these. So give me the code in the comments. Give me the code in the comments. Yeah. Give me the code in the comments. Give me the code. Okay. Try to type in the comments like what I can what I can do for removing these. What I can do for removing this. So list of integer. Yeah, that's right. Uh, that's right. You just have to mention the remove of the number. Like if I want to remove 2, then if I want to remove 3, then if I want to remove 4, right, 4, and then if I want to remove 6, right, and if I now check this list, you can see only these two items are there, right? You can see only these two items are there. But what if I I want to remove 60, but 60 is not here, right? 60 is not here. What will happen is it will throw some error, right? It will throw error, like that item does not actually exist. So this is also another learning that if whatever item you are trying to remove, that item has to be present in the list, right? That item has to be present into the list. Okay. So let's so this is it, right? This is it. This was the right answer. So if anyone has any question, please feel free to raise your hand. Otherwise, let's get into the next topic, that is pop function. Okay, pop function. Pop function. So what is pop function? So the index or the syntax is like this, right? Like this. What does this mean? You need to use pop and then you need to specify index, right? You need to specify index. So the definition is if we want to or if we do not pass the index, then by default, by default, it removes the last item from the list. Okay, last item is minus one index 1. Okay, so the definition is same. The definition is there. It removes the item from the list. Okay, all the functions which we are learning today, those will remove the items from the list. So whatever I have written, let me just explain you what is it. Okay, so let's create list 1 is equals to, again, Dhoni, uh, Virat, then Shah Rukh, some cricketers, but Indian, Bollywood actors, Kajol and Sehwag. Okay, Sehwag. So now we have this list. Now we have this list, but but what happens is, let me just add one more. Okay, so now we have some cricketers and some Bollywood actors. Okay, some cricketers and some Bollywood actors. So what if you don't want to remove the elements by their name or by their exact form? Like in the remove function, we were directly typing where it is. We were directly typing the exact keyword, right? Exact keyword. But what if you don't want to add the keyword, but you want to remove the elements, right? Remove the elements by their index. Okay, by their index. So if I want to remove Shah Rukh from this particular list, what I will do is I will check, right? So what's the index of Shah Rukh here, right? This is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. Okay, so I will just add index here as 2. Okay, I will just add index here as 2, and I will check if Shah Rukh has been born. So Shah Rukh left the chat. Okay, so Shah Rukh has left the list, right? So instead of adding the exact keyword in pop function, you need to mention the index of the function. Okay, index of the function. Understood? So this is the main difference between remove and pop. Okay, remove and pop. So in remove need to mention the exact uh, exact item, right? Item name. And in pop need to mention the index of the item, right? Index of the item. So in pop function we just mention index. So since we have removed Shah Rukh, then Kajal will automatically say, I don't want to work here, right? So what's the index of Kajal here is right now? It's 2. How it's 2? Because this is 0 right now, this is 1, this is 2. Okay, this is 2. So this is initially, previously it was like 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, and 3. But since the Shah Rukh is no more in the list, Shah Rukh is no more in the list. So now the updated index of Kajol is 2 here. Okay, Kajol is 2 here. So if I do this again, and if I check, so Kajol has also left the list. Okay, so this is how you can do it. So one more thing I have written here. So if you don't mention the index, then the default item is, which will left the list, is -1 index, right? -1 index. So if I now do list1 dot pop, and if I run this, right? If I run this, so what will happen is Kriti has Kriti will left. So her index is -1. Okay, this is -1. This is -2. This is -3. Okay, and so on. Okay, and so on. So this is how pop function works. So pop, if you don't mention anything, the last element will run, right? So if you see, we left with all the cricketers and all the Bollywood celebrities left the list, right? So with the help of pop function, you can do that. With the help of function, you can do that. But sir, what happens if we do something like it? One dot pop and say 7, okay, and say 7. So what will happen is, uh, I think it should give some error, yes, because that is out of index. Because seventh element is not here. We only have three elements, okay? We don't have seven elements. So we don't have seven elements. So I think this is also clear. If this is clear, type yes in the comments, guys. Type yes in the comments if this is clear. If this is clear, type yes in the comments. Okay. Uh, Ms. Pradna, if do you have any questions? I didn't see your hand raised. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself or type in the comments. That is also fine. I didn't recognize your hand is raised. Hand has is raised. Is there any question? Hmm, okay. Okay. So I think this is clear. So let's move to the next question, or sorry, the next the next function, that is clear. Okay, that is clear. So the name suggests. So the name suggests it clears all the all the items from the list. Right? It clears all the items from the list. So there is like nothing fancy about it. Let's say let's create one dictionary like cities as, or a list cities as like Los Angeles. Just forgive my spelling spellings. Then we have Angkor. Again, we have Moscow. Then we have Tokyo, and then we have Rio. Okay. So we have list of cities, and if I say cities dot clear, and then this function, right? And this function, and if I go and check if is there anything in the cities, and if I run this, there is nothing. There is nothing. So if you want to clear the list, if you want to make the list empty, you can you can use clear function. Okay, you can use clear function, right? So this was all about it. There is nothing other than it in the clear function. And then I think the last one is del. Okay, I think the last one is del. So let's say now the another list is, let's say, again cities is equals to hmm, let's say Haridwar. Then we have Kashi. Then we have uh, Vanaras. Then we have Kedarnath. Then let's say Vrindavan. Okay, Vrindavan. All holy cities. Okay, all holy cities that we have. So if you use this del function, or this del of cities, okay, and if you specify the index, okay, you specify. So now the index is 1, right, for Kashi, right? So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Okay. So if you mention the index of Kashi, then Kashi will get uh, away, right? So now if you check cities, so there is no Kashi, right? There is no Kashi. But but so I think this del, and then if you say cities, so this will directly delete the data type, right? It deletes the entire data type. So previously we were checking for clear, right? We were checking for clear. We were at least getting the list, empty list. But now if you do this like this, it will clear the entire, it will clear the, or it will delete the entire list, right? It will delete the entire list. Okay. So this is how the del function works. So you can either specify the index, then it will go to the particular index and it will delete that index. Okay. So no, Kashi is no more in the our list. But if you say delete cities, right? Delete cities. So it will delete the entire variable or entire data type from the system. Okay, from the system. So this is how the del function is. This is how the del function works. Okay, this is how the del function works. So I hope you understood this. If you have understood, type yes in the comments, and then we can move to the next topic. Right, we can move to the next topic. Cool, cool. Okay. So now let's uh, let me create 1.10.1 list functions c.ipynb. Okay, so connecting the kernel, and so now today we will go through the sorting in list. Okay, the sorting in the list. So let's understand what is sorting in the list. Okay, sorting in the list. So there are two types. First is ascending sorting. Okay, ascending sorting, and the second is descending, obviously. Okay, so the first is ascending. Let's learn about sorting in the list, ascending sorting. So let me just give you one example. Okay, let's say marks of students is equals to 67, 76, 87, 98, 54, and 90. Okay, so we have these marks of particular students, and you want to check, and you want to basically check whose numbers are very less or very high, or if you want to sort this particular list. Okay, if you want to sort this particular list, so there is a function called sort or sorted. Okay, there is a function called sort or sorted that can be used. Okay, that can be used. So how sort can be used? So you just have to say, marks and dot, and then you can find this sort function. Okay, sort function, and you just have to do this. And now you want to check the marks, so you can see the lowest is here and the highest is here. So this is the ascending sorting. Okay, this is called ascending sorting. Okay, this is called ascending sorting. And similarly, sorted can also be used, but what you have to do is, so we have these marks, right? We have this mark. So you have to kind of say, let's say again, marks equal to sorted of marks. Okay, No. Or you can say sorted sorted marks list. Okay, so you need to specify, basically this is the function sorted of this marks. Okay, and now you have created the another list, and now if you want to pay, if you want to see what's there, you can see this is also sorted. Okay, this is also sorted. So sort you can directly add to the list, but sorted is you need to add whatever the list name inside sorted function. Okay, this is the primary difference, but other than that there is no any logic like here, right? There is nothing different. This both works the same. This both works the same. There is no logic. But I can explain you the behind logic of this. So there is this, but these all function make a use of sort or for loop, right? For loop. So let's say if I use this similar similar list now. So there is this code. mm, let's say for I in range of you know length of marks marks. So what I am doing is I am iterating this I through the range of this particular marks list. Okay, and then what I'm doing is like again I'm using for J loop. So now I can use anything I, J, K. Okay, I'm running a loop inside a loop. So you don't have to understand again because we will learn this for loop, J loop, or not for loop or while loop in the coming lectures. So I'm just telling you the how this the logic is there. You can say for J in I plus 1 comma length of marks. So now what I'm doing is I'm running a second loop inside a loop and I'm saying I में एक ऐड कर दो, ठीक है, I में एक ऐड कर दो, and then go through the entire list again. Okay, go through the entire list again, and then what I will do, I will say I will use if marks का अगर marks से जो I आइटम है अगर वो इक्वल्स टू या उससे बड़ा है, राइट, इक्वल्स टू या उससे बड़ा है, सो जो उसको मार्क्स के जे से कंपेयर करो, ठीक है, मार्क्स के जे से कंपेयर करो. सो व्हेन दिस लूप विल रन, दिस लूप विल आल्सो रन बिलो दिस लूप एंड पर्टिकुलरली दिस कंपैरिजन विल हैपन अगर j का j is greater than I. So basically I, if I is greater than j, basically this I is greater than j, which is not right now. So what will happen, this will stay the same, right? This will stay the same and then it will check the next. If this is greater than this, which is again not, if this is greater than this, which is again not, if this is greater than this, then this particular element will swap, right, will swap. Now 54 will come at this place, 98 come at this place. So let's mention the swapping mechanism. So I will say right, I, then I want to swap with j, and similarly I want to swap i j with I. So this is the mechanism of swapping. Okay, this is the mechanism of swapping. So now if I say अगर मैं इसको रन कर देता हूँ and if I check marks again, this is sorted. Okay, this is sorted. So what is happening here, let me just uh, print print I loop, right, I loop comma I. So यहाँ पर जो भी लूप चलेगा हमें पता चलेगा. Then I will say print J loop, J loop, comma, comma, J. तो यहाँ पर भी जो भी चलेगा हमें पता चलेगा. And then let me just print. So when I is I and J is J, J is J, is a list is marks. So I'm just printing these statements, okay? So now this is the entire logic. So you can see when when I loop is at 0, तो ये जब 0th पोजीशन पे था तब J loop 1th पोजीशन पे था, 1 पोजीशन पे था. मतलब ये दो आइटम्स वी आर चेकिंग, ओके? these two elements we are checking. जब अगर ये दो एलिमेंट से I एंड J में अगर I बड़ा रहेगा, if this is greater than this one, the second one, then these places will get swapped, okay? This would have come here and this would have come here, but at this till here this is not happening. So 98 is bigger than 54. So ये केस में this number will swap. So 98 यहाँ पर जाएगा, 58 यहाँ पे जाएगा. Then again 98 and 90 will get checked. So 98 again will be the larger number than 90. Then 98 will be here, 90 will come here. So ultimately this 98 will come here, and again the loop will run. Right? You can see how big is the loop. Okay, you can check like this. How big is the loop? This is how big is the loop. So it checks each and every element. Okay, it checks each and every element. This is how the big the loop is. Okay, so technically you don't really have to understand this one, but I just wanted to tell you below this sorted function, this kind of working is there. Okay, this kind of working is there. So I don't really expect you to understand this, but just have in your mind that something is happening behind the scenes. Okay, behind the scenes. So let me just give you one more examples. So we learned with these numbers. Okay, so you know does this sorting works with strings also? Okay, strings means let's say words. Okay, words. क्या ये words के साथ भी work करती है क्या? Okay, so let's take one more example. Let's say metro cities. Okay, metro cities is equals. So let's create one list here. The very first is Mumbai, then we have Pune, then we have Nagpur, then we have Bangalore, right? BLLR, then we have Chennai, right? And then what we have, the next is Delhi, right? Delhi. Or Ahmedabad is also there, right there, okay? So we have all these cities, okay? We have all these cities. So if I say metros dot sort, right? Sort कर दो इस metro cities को. And if I print, you can see these numbers, these cities has been arranged. So Ahmedabad will come first because A, then B, then C, then D, M, and P. Okay. So this sort function will also work with words, right? Uh, and also with numbers, right? Numbers. So this was all about sorting. So I hope this is also clear. And this is clear, if this is clear, the next the next is quite easy, descending order. Okay. So what first we learned is ascending sorting. Then the second we will learn is descending sorting. Okay, descending sorting. So this is kind of a easier one. right? This is kind of easier one. So let me just take the same example. Let me just take the same example. So you can say something like it. Same marks dot sort, right? Marks dot sort. So what it will do is it will give us a ascending list. Okay, ascending list. But we have learned in the list that if you do this slicing, right? Slicing. If you remember, if interviewer give us some input, we just have to use this syntax. And if I run this, now the list is ascendingly sorted, right? Ascendingly sorted. What we did is ascendingly sorted, and then we reversed it to the descending one, right? So here list is ascendingly sorted. Then what we did is we just reversed it, right? Reversed it. Okay, रिवर्स कर दिया हमने इसको, ठीक है, इसको रिवर्स कर दिया. So this is how you can do descending sorting. Okay, descending sorting. There is one more way. Let me just tell you that way as well. So if you say reverse equals to true, okay, reverse equals to true, and if you now check marks, so now this will also work the same. Okay, this will also works the same. So if you use the same sorted but add reverse equals to true, it will give you descending sorting. Okay, descending sorting, descending sorting. And again, let's take the same example. Let's take the same example. And hmm, if we say x is equals to sorted, ठीक है, क्योंकि हमने sorted भी पढ़ा था, right? So ये sort and sorted will works the same. Sort and sorted will work the same. But sorted में what we had to do is we had to add this, right? We had to add this, and now if we check, we will get the ascending one. But if you want to do the descending one, what you have to do is you have to say reverse equals to true again, and now you will get the descending one. Okay, now you will get the descending one. So this is all about the sorting one, guys, right? This is all about the sorting one. So let me just quickly give you the recap. But before that, if you have any questions, type in the comments. Okay, type in the comments. If you have any questions, type in the comments, or you can raise the hand and let me know. If you can raise the hand and let me know. So if there is if there is any question, you can raise your hand. Let me know. Otherwise, let's learn what we have learned. Let's revise what we have learned today. So first, yesterday, so we learned how to add functions, right? How to add elements into the list using append function, extend, and insert. And similarly, today we learn how to delete the functions or delete the items from the list. So there are these four methods: remove, pop, delete, and clear. So remove will remove the element, but the condition is you have to mention the exact name of that particular element. Okay, so I wanted to remove iOS, so I've mentioned the exact element into the removed parenthesis. Okay, removed bracket. And then we learned this pop function, but for pop you need to mention the index of the function. So I wanted to remove Shahrukh from the list, so I use this 2 because Shahrukh's index is 2 here. Okay, Shahrukh's index. So Shahrukh left the list, then we again wanted to remove Kajol, then Kajol left the list because her index was also second. And if we don't mention anything, then the automatically or the default is last element that gets removed from the list. Okay, the last element that gets removed from the list. So you can see Kirti or Kriti has left the list. Okay, and then we learned about clear. So clear is something that if you use clear, it will empty the entire list. Okay, it will empty the entire list like this. Everything it will empty down, and what we will get in the end is a empty list. Okay, empty list. So there is nothing in the in this particular list. So you can see this is one example, but but delete will delete will entirely entirely delete this function, like delete this element, like it will scratch down the entire list, entire data type from the system. Okay, it will not, it will not even found in the system if you mention this kind of indexed element. So we removed Kashi, but if you do like this, if you do like this, so this will actually entirely delete everything. Okay, so it is advised that you should not use delete function delete function in the system. Okay, it is advised that. So no one, we don't really use this delete function even in the in our work. And then lastly, what we learned is sorting. So there are two types of sorting: is ascending, and then there is a descending, right? Ascending and descending. So in ascending, we use sort and sorted function, right? So what's the difference between sort and sort function? So for sort, what you have to do is for sort, what you have to do is you need to use this. So what happened? Okay. So you need to add in front of the list variable. Okay. So you just have to use dot function and then sort. It will automatically sort the entire list. But for sorted, what you have to do is you use sorted and then open the parenthesis and add these list variable into those parentheses. Okay, into those parentheses, and it will do the same. It will do the same. This is some backend stuff which is happening when we use sorted function. Okay, sort or sorted function, which you don't really have to remember, or if you have understood this, great. If you don't, then anyway we will learn this in coming lectures, right? And similarly, descending is very simple. Like we use the same sort and sorted function, right? Sort and sorted function, but the difference is reverse here, right? We use reverse equals to true. Okay, we use reverse equals to, and for sorted also we use reverse equals to true. Okay, reverse equals to true. And this is a one of the method, like if a interviewer says don't use sort function or sorted function, right? They deliberately mention this, don't use sort or sorted function, then you should remember I should use this step size, right, step size, which is minus 1. Okay, what's the step size is minus 1. Okay, double colon and then minus 1. So in this way it will reverse the whatever, the whether it is list, whether it is string. Okay, so it will reverse it. So this was all about today, guys. On a very right time, we have closed the session. So if you have any question, type in the comments. And if you don't have any question, and if you have understood this entire lecture, so you know what to do. You need to type a big win with multiple N's in the comments, and so that we can close this call today, or close this lecture. Great, great. All right, guys, I will post these recordings and class notes on the GitHub. So make sure you check that too also. अगर आप ये revise करोगे, ठीक है? See, I'm adding these lectures, ठीक है? All these lectures here. So बहुत सारे तो scheduled है, ठीक है? Scheduled है. So you will get these lectures very soon. But even though otherwise we are, I'm trying to push these, I'm trying to push these videos on internet or on YouTube because I did not really had the storage. What's happening? So this is the today's class. So this is today's class which is going on right now. So this will also get available very soon. Okay. So these are some previous lectures you can also check out. No, so from few days we are consistently uploading these lectures, so you can go and have these recordings completed. So all right, let's close the today's calls. All the best and do practice, and I will share the assignment.